Thanks to 𝗬𝗲 for sponsoring this video. Episode 3 of the Long Exposure Cityscapes series in Milano, and we're finally by the Duomo. The Duomo di Milano is the symbol of this city. It is also the biggest church in Italy, believe me or not. As a matter of fact, you might think that the biggest church is the Church of San Pietro in Rome, but the thing is that San Pietro is actually not in Rome, but is in the Vatican, which is not Italy. The Duomo is also the third biggest church in the world. Unbelievable. Right here, behind me. One of the main characteristics of this beautiful Gothic church is the white pinkish marble that comes from these marble caves in Piedmont. And it's also very peculiar, the fact that the marble arrived in Milano through rivers, a lake, and canals. And through the invention of navigation basins, the marble could arrive right next to the Duomo, where craftsmen could work the marble and build this beautiful church. But the process was a little slow. It started in 1393 and actually was completed 545 years later, in 1938. Another symbol of Milano is the Madonnina, which is the statue on top of the Duomo. Interesting part of this is that in the 30s there was a law, and the Madonnina, with its 108 meters and a half, had to be the tallest construction in Milano. So what happened over time is that in Milano there are actually taller buildings, and so they built a copy of the Madonnina that was moved over time to the tallest building in Milano. Right now, since 2015, the Madonnina is into the 𝗬𝗏𝗪, which is the tallest building of the city. Let's talk about photography now. I have an hour and a half, so I'm very relaxed because I have a lot of time. At the same time, the location that I scouted before is now busy with the television crew, and I'm not worried yet, but I hope that they will move because otherwise I will need to find a different spot. The good news is that we do have some clouds today, and so maybe we will even get some colors.
Don't say darling, 'cause you'll fake it. Don't hide the tears, 'cause I know you're breaking. All this love and all this pain you've given. All this love and all this pain, you bring them from another world.
If you didn't watch the previous episodes, let me explain what this project is about. I'm using a very long exposure in order to create a very surreal atmosphere where people will basically disappear from my photo. I'm also trying to shoot the main photo basically around the same time of the previous images I took in order to create a consistent series in my project. quick interruption from the studio just because I want to let you know that I am finally designing my online store for my prints. This project was on my to-do list for a very long time, and I kept on postponing it because I was worried of how much time it was going to take me to create my own online store. I finally started my research on the best platform, and while I was doing this research, I've been contacted by 𝗬𝗲𝘂. 𝗬𝗲𝘂 is a website builder with an embedded e-commerce platform. I created an account and I tested the platform. And I quickly realized that not only 𝗬𝗲𝘂 could be a partner for the videos of this channel, but it could actually become also an important supplier for my online store. As a matter of fact, with 𝗬𝗲𝘂 you can quickly launch your new online store with a real chance to sell. And 𝗬𝗲𝘂 e-commerce tools will allow you to sell also on Instagram, on Facebook, on Amazon, all in one place. 𝗬𝗲𝘂 website builder will let you create amazing websites without knowing a thing about coding. With the simple drag and drop editing and hundreds of templates, designing your website couldn't be any easier. And what is incredible is that all this is available now with a limited time offer at less than $3 a month, making 𝗬𝗲𝘂 the most affordable platform on the market. By using this link, you can get an additional 10% off any 𝗬𝗲𝘂 yearly plans and a free domain for a year, or using the promo code @𝗬𝗏𝗂. Okay, we can go back to Piazza del Duomo now. So since I have time, I'm going to take a first shot with a crazy long exposure. I have a 16.7 stops ND filter. Right now, with ISO 64 f8 on my 20mm lens, I have 1/60 as a shutter speed. I will be using a 3 stops ND and the 16.7 stops, so possibly I can round it to 17 stops, which means 37 minutes. Let's try. I don't think I have ever tried 37 minutes exposure. Let's go. So I am halfway through my exposure, and just a quick reflection about the fact that when you take these very long exposures, it is like gambling. And if it goes wrong, usually there is not much you can do. So that's why with long exposure photography, I encourage people to get to their location as early as they can so they can test different exposures and make sure that when the light is right, you can decide about the right exposure length and bring home a good shot. Something that I really don't like about Piazza del Duomo is the pigeons. The square is full of pigeons, and they shit everywhere. I don't know how tourists love to be filled with pigeons everywhere and got their pictures taken. Not for me. The exposure is finished. I'm going to check the result. And hopefully I didn't waste 37 minutes. The 37 minutes exposure was actually a good one, but I realized that I like to have a little more space between the end of the church and top of the frame, so I slightly changed my composition in order to have a super symmetrical and well-balanced image, where my subject is right in the middle, but also has enough space on top and on the bottom. We are half an hour to sunset, and already the golden hour started. As a matter of fact, the marble of the church is as pink as it can be. So I will take another exposure. I switched the 16 stops to 10 stops, and my shutter speed base is 1/25, which will become a 2-minute exposure, so a lot more manageable. 2 minutes. Mirror lock up. Timer. I mean, the light is great. I just have three right in the middle of the square, and they've been talking for a while. So they stay there for the entire 2 minutes. And I see them. Oh, it's all right. These are just tests. The sun is set, and now I'm just waiting for the city lights to turn on and capture my final shot. Long exposure photography is very fascinating. You can achieve very cool effects both with very, very long exposure length or even shorter exposure length. I have a useful long exposure photography tutorial right here, but I'm also working on a new long exposure photography course which will come up on this channel very soon. So if you didn't subscribe yet, maybe this is the right time to do so. So the city lights finally turned on, and now I can start working on my final shot. At f8, my shutter speed is 1.3 seconds, which with the 6 stops and the filter gives me an exposure length of 1 minute and 23 seconds, which I don't think is enough because there is a lot of people standing and talking, so I need to go for something a little longer. And to do that, I will close my aperture to f16, the smallest aperture on my 20mm lens. I have now 8 seconds, and with the 6 stops, I have a 6 minutes and 24 seconds. I think that is going to get a little darker, so I will extend my exposure length to 9 minutes. And with f16, I might also be able to get starburst from the lights on the side of the church. Let's see. Manual mode set on bulb. 9 minutes. I'm using mirror lockup. Timer. Last exposure of the day. Of course, this is a very popular spot, and not only there is a lot of people in the square, but there is also a lot of people that when they see me doing something a little different because they see the filters, they see a second tripod, they wonder what am I doing. So I think that I had at least 10 people coming up to me, asking me what I was doing, curious about long exposure photography. And I have mixed feelings about this. First, I always feel a little embarrassed, especially in Italy, speaking to my camera. At the same time, it's kind of cool to explain to other people what is long exposure about. But I also need to say that although I am enjoying this project in Milano, I do miss nature, and I can't wait to be back in nature. So in the end, another very challenging location. I realized that this is a very ambitious project. Nevertheless, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember to hit the like button, leave me your comments, share this video with your friends, and thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.